Hey man, it's a big day. This is it, man. It's not every day that you get to have the meeting of the minds for one of the most respectable, recognizable, most celebrated producers in the game. I'm talking about the one Salaam Remi, Rich Nice and Salaam Remi on Sway in the morning, man. Come on, man. Let me get that big round of applause.
I'm glad to be here. I'm happy to make your show, your conversational intellect exchange, and excited on purpose.
Hey, man, yo, I feel like Salaam just went in interview mode. All right, let me get there with you.
It's been a long day. I just want to make sure I'm have my etiquette up.
You know what I mean? Now, first and foremost, Salaam, you've been on the show before, we're friends, total disclaimer, but I want to say I really appreciate the latest project that you put out and that you've been pushing. Is Black on Purpose for a number of reasons. I think it makes a very powerful statement. It's a very accurate, almost documentation of the way people are feeling during this time period, during quarantine, all the social injustice we've been seeing in this country in the past few years. And I also feel like I'm getting to know who you are even more. This is a very personable album to me. This album, to me, is something that's necessary for a lot of us to kind of seek therapy, to seek understanding through other folks' interpretations of these times. But listening to the whole album, it made me wonder, was this a therapy session for Salaam Remi as well? Was this necessary for you to do to help you cope with this day and age?
Yes, artists always say, hey, I made a lot of records, but this is the one. And I would hear artists say that, and I'd be like, okay, I hear you. This is how you feel right now. But with this, it was different for me because my whole career, going back decades, I've always made music based upon how the artist felt. So it was always, this is how the artist feels. Or you want to party, okay, I'm going to make some music for your party. Or you have a sad song, I'm going to make a sad song. If you want to make a, let's have some fun song, I was always being the orchestrator and arranger to that. The difference with this whole project was I was feeling emotional. I was feeling mentally attacked. I wasn't able to be physically attacked by COVID. I wasn't physically attacked by the racism that was going on the way other people were, but I was feeling emotionally and mentally attacked. And, the only way to get past that is the spiritual is the only thing that can strengthen your physical and your, mental space. And this album was that. And I could honestly say I made a lot of it with a tear in my eye, from the pandemic. For 2 months, I was sending condolences every day from March back to May, and then now to get to where the pandemic was one thing, and then watching Ahmaud Arbery first, and then the George Floyd on top of that, I didn't feel comfortable going out my house with a mask on. A large black man with a mask on gloves. Like anytime I gotta go to the store, it's like mask, gloves. Like I use my smile. But the song, it just took me back to not only what's been happening this year, but what my people have always gone through. If at the end of the day, if somebody's going through something, they say, hey, get the big guy outside the store. I can't say that they're just going to get that big guy. If I was standing anywhere in there, that was me. Sometimes I wonder if, police were called to my house, would they think I was a burglar or the person that owned it? So it just really hit me and really made me think deeper. And this project was emotional, and it was me letting loose that, but it was also me finding the music that I needed to find in order to get through stuff.
And with the music, what makes it so fascinating is that you played every part on this album?
Not everything. All the bass and drums, definitely. I'm playing all the live drums and percussion and bass. And some of the songs I'm playing all the keys to. James Poyser was a co-star on like Yonder and certain records, giving me some of that church feel. CJ Hilton played the keys on the Case song. I had people that helped me shit out. Vincent Henry is a creative partner of mine, does a lot of horns on stuff. So he's playing saxophone throughout it. I'm playing the sax on No Peace. I bought a sax on Amazon. I was just trying to do anything just to let this energy and this rage out. And, you know, I reached out to a lot of artists, and a lot of them didn't know how they felt. They didn't know how to translate what was going on. They didn't know what to say to their kids. They didn't know how to even get past this moment. And some of them did. And the ones that did were the ones that I kept the vocals and then pushed it forward. So
Salaam, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying it was just really important to help people even find a way to express this.
Yo, Salaam Remi, this is interesting, man. Because this project is not an industry thing. You know what I mean? It didn't come out like, this is my release date, this is my album listening party, this is, you know, my big marketing and promotional push. The album is nothing but food and nourishment for people to be either uplifted or be made aware, or to dance or to cry or to sing. How difficult was it for you to push a album, Black on Purpose, with that narrative? Like, what kind of reaction did you get?
To be honest, you know, my thought was that, you know, I did this for the people who are feeling it, the people who feel affected by it. I didn't make it for, this is for the masses. I didn't make it with a hit in mind. I didn't make it with a marketing plan in mind. I made this for the village, like a home cooked pot of food. And whoever walked by and is hungry, they're going to eat from the food. And whoever knows about it, they're going to tell another person. I looked at it like I wanted, you know, I didn't want somebody just to be poking and making a critique. You know, the album cover looks, for me, like a piece of ID, you know, the best I could say it, because this is me. So I didn't want to critique on my ID. Oh, yo, you shouldn't be that height. You shouldn't be that weight. You shouldn't be that color. You shouldn't be that blood type. You shouldn't be from that place. Who I am is who I am. And who I am is who I'll ever. So in this aspect, what we ended up having was finding out who else shared this same viewpoint, who else shared these same moments, so that now we could, as a group, look at how we may be able to go forward. Because the biggest thing when something happens is you need to hear somebody else is going through it too. So then that way you don't feel alone and you're able to kind of push through as a unit.
Man, Salaam Remi, Rich Nice, you want to jump in on there?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting, Salaam. Salute, man. This project is great. I've been very blessed to have heard stages of it along the way in the creation. You know, us being friends for so many years, and I've been, I guess, the fly on the wall of a lot of your productions and creations over the years, that when people have conversation about them, I laugh and I go, no, you're speculating. I was actually at the studio that day. That's not how it happened. You know what I mean? And so it's an inside joke for me. This selection of artists could have been easily on any Grammy-nominated record, any Billboard Top 10, you know, any Source Award, if you will, or any BET Rap Award or whatever. But the way you put them together is unique, unlike most people have worked with them in the past. What was the conversation that you had with the artists prior to even playing their music? Because I know you like to have conversations about songs before you even create. What was the conversations and how different were they with each individual?
Honestly, I think during this year, the common ground was everyone going, you see what just happened? Wow, you feeling this? Yeah, I'm feeling this too. Did you see that? Boy, I don't even know what to do. I'm sending condolences every day. Me too. Like, everyone felt like we were all looking at a scenario where whether we were rich or poor or, you know, light-skinned, dark-skinned, I mean, we still felt as people of color, we were under attack. And, you know, I intentionally put it out at the election because I felt like it wasn't just about what's happening in the election. It wasn't just about a date. This is who I am going forward. All the people that had huge Trump banners out on my block where I live, rolled them back up and put them in their house, but I still see you. So now it's an awkward movement. Now I don't feel comfortable being in certain places. I don't feel that. And only, you know, even with the Trump aspect, he's a president, but he's also a president who is pushing people to be bolder because they feel like they can get pardoned and excused for their blatant, outlandish racism. You know, all of us are black guys. We've all been in a space where somebody wanted to pull their self away and not respect us the way that they should. You know, Sway, you and I about you were in a space and somebody turned around and looked, they realized who you were and like, oh hi. You're just like, oh hi.
Yeah.
You know, I'm Amy Winehouse guy. I'm cool, right?
Yeah.
But you know, oh, she wrote that in my house. Oh, I'm cool, right? Okay, cool. I'm a big black guy in a mask. Call the police. Kill him now. You know what I'm saying? So it was just a thing where we all felt attacked, and we also felt like we weren't protected. Government in a position of having to protect ourselves and to protect our own. And really, you know, I feel for everyone and everything. You know, just if I'm not in New York, I have to feel everything that happens in New York. That's my village. If I'm not, you know, and it's not only here, it's around the world we're going through darker, ending up in bad situations. So for me, you know, Black on Purpose is just really, you know, I'm intentionally making music for Black people. I intentionally use things that were non-gentrified parts of it, something that you had to be there. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand what, you know, mass grief this year, cool. We play Going Up Yonder, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? You know what that means. If, you know, like you said, you from the Bay, the Hawkins is just, you know, classmates and everything else. So when you're getting into it, there's a certain thing that happens and we look at that, and you go, dag, this is actually moving my inside bones, my spirits. And, you know, Nas says something to me early in the pandemic. He was like, Salaam, when we came from Africa, one of the first things they did was take our drums. But the second we got our drums back, we ruled the world. And hip hop generation rules the world by the power of the drums and then the words going with the drums. This is where we are. And at the end of the day, you know, some of the stuff that I played on the album, some of the Live from Soul on the Horn, and even the Say It Loud, I'm Black and Proud, I'm playing all the instruments except for the horns on those songs. I can't tell you how I did it.
Wow.
I don't even know how I did it. I sit in a room with some percussion and I'm just hitting and going for it. And I know I had the ability to be able to play that level of percussion or bring things forward. But I think, you know, it's like I said, it's the spiritual for me. It's things that are coming forth, and, you know, the reception I've gotten from my tribe, from my village, from the people that have heard it, they feel emotional while they're listening to it, while they're seeing a couple of videos that I put out. They feel something from the intro to the outro. I didn't think people would listen to 17 whole songs.
Yeah. The continuity, though. The narrative, the thread runs from the Malcolm X speech to the Sandra Bland speech. From beginning to end is speaking to Black America so unapologetically. And I also think it's kind of waking folks up. Like what may seem extreme a year ago, now is the norm. You have to be loud. You got to be unapologetic. And I think you really accomplished that. But the other thing you did that I think should be noted is the continuity, not just with the music, but also with the visuals too. And so when you would just mention gentrification, and immediately it made me think of the Out of the Rain video with Bilal.
Right.
And in this video, you see a scene that's, we've been seeing the whole Karen, you know, the Karen movement, the white girl who, you know, who's trying to kick us all out of our neighborhood movement happen for the last year or so. Right. And I thought that was really poignant when you put that in the video, but it also made me think of not just the visuals and the music, but the way you're releasing this is independently done. And it's being done for a reason. So when you mention gentrification, can you speak on why you're releasing it this way and the gentrification that we've seen happen in our culture behind the scenes in the music business?
I mean, first things first, you know, I'm at a point in my career where, you know, as I've been saying for the last few years, is do it for the culture. You know, my purpose in doing stuff is principles over profits. A company is trying to make profit. They will sell dog doodle in plastic bags if everybody wants to buy it. They do not care. So their motivation in having principles with what they will support, how they will support it, and everything else is not at the level where I'm at. I'm doing things strictly because I feel like they're roots, they're plants. This is garlic, ginger, turmeric that people will need. And if no one replants it, the plants will become extinct. Musically speaking, I stand on that. And then also, I'm in a position where I'm not looking for, I've had the corporate job before. I've been in all that space. I'm not looking for anyone's acceptance or to be nice to your feelings at this point. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a feelings budget. That's not here. This stuff is really saying, this is what I'm going to do. There's no one to stop me. I'm direct to Apple. I'm direct to Spotify. I'm outside, and I'm going to do it the way I see fit and give the message the way I see fit without being, as you said, unapologetically Black. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go back and apologize for my ID, for who I am. And, so many times when I look at the way that a lot of music, even at times, like, oh, this is really dope. I like it, but is it a hit? I'm not thinking about a hit. Is it a hit with my folks? Do my people here have it? You know what I'm saying? When we go to the certain spots and we hear a certain track, when we hear that Super Cat Push Time, and it just make you lean because you know what it is. And the people that I'm serving, all the people that are of the culture that are in that spot. And I think that I'm blessed to have the opportunity to use my highest form of art, my loudest voice of music, to give a message to people that's going to last longer than me. In the same way that I would have done it for The Score, the same way I would have done it for Back to Black, the same way I would have done it for any other Kaleidoscope Dream, any other Sony, Universal, Warner project. I can do it for my own label because now I can drive it for as long as I want and down to the real meaning. I don't have financial pressure. Everything I'm doing for this project, I haven't really been driving it home, but it's all going back to charity.
It's all going to charity? Just different charities?
Yeah, I mean, at first though, I was looking at it, and so many charities have, if you support this one, this means this, and that means that. I mean, I can't go on everyone else's agenda, just like I can't follow everyone else's words. People have ways that they feel like it's right, but everything that I'm doing is going back to different charities, and I have blackonpurpose.org. All the merch that I'm creating is back in the charities. We started with Sandra Bland's charity because she was able, her family donated her likeness to the project. You know what I'm saying? I used the visual and that, so I said, okay, cool. The first X amount of dollars is going there, but I'm not publicizing it. To me, it's whack when you have to give and then tell everybody that you gave. Like, if you really do it, do it. You know what I'm saying? And that's my motive. My motive is to musically feed people. People will pick up this record when I no longer exist. They will hear it. And after songs on the album are older than me.
Wow, so these aren't even new songs. These are songs you started that made sense now?
No. I'm saying, like, Is It Because I'm Black was in 1960.
Oh, you talking about the songs that were made. Okay.
Strange Fruit, Is It Because I'm Black? Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these things were before my existence, and we're still going through it. The Malcolm X speech was from 1963.
And it still applies today.
Which is ridiculous unless we actually take some learning and move it forward. So
But how do you? I mean, I just want to get in this combo with you, man, because I love what you're saying. But that's easier said than done, right? To listen and move forward. 2020, how does that look to you moving forward? What does moving forward look like?
I start with the intent of how you're trying to move and what you're trying to get from things and how you go and move with people. If you don't understand, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have the knowledge, then you can't actually do the execution. So for me, to understand that we're being manipulated in so many different ways, and then now for me to say, look, you mess with that guy, it'll be a problem. You can't come back in here. Look, when Drew Brees said that he sided with something that Trump said that was rude or whatever about, I can't remember what he said, but it was something that wasn't friendly to the politics of the players. And the players like, I don't know how I feel about that, Drew Brees. You might need to fix that. Then he doubled back and said, well, I don't actually agree with everything, and he switched up. But did you notice like that next week, Roger Goodell and all the NFL that had been down on Cap from the beginning changed their whole tune?
What's the correlation?
Because if you realize the defensive line is not holding Drew Brees down, the offensive line, whatever the football team, those big black dudes ain't gonna hold him down. Every quarterback could get their neck snapped. Somebody ain't turn around and taking care of them. So now all of a sudden they come into it after the Roc Nation partnership, after everything else they said they did, after everything that we drew question to, and said, hey, you know what? We need to change our tone. Because everybody stood together. If that line stands together and say, nah, you know what, we're not playing. You know, I think there's something going on now with some of the Rockets. We're feeling it. You know what? If we're not feeling what's happening, let us go. Because it has to be at some point the principles over the dollar. Have to.
That is. Salaam Remi. Yeah, I know Westbrook wanted to get out. Harden wanted to come to the Nets. They were talking about that. You know, Chris Paul's. A lot of folks getting untraded because they don't like what's happening. You feel that by holding, like Malcolm X said, that once we come together and once we start working together, we can make effective change. You feel by these black players speaking out, they held the league accountable, and we start seeing change happen in our face, at least in terms of their messaging, correct?
Team by team, you know, at the end of the day, everybody can have a perspective, but if the star of your team's like, I'm not with it, and then the next star's like, I'm not with it, there's always going to be some guy that breaks the line and says this is what it is, but how is striking effective? How is any effective? If the NBA said, some of the players said they didn't want to go back home, the rest of the guys said they want to go on. Realistically, you have to respect the person that's working. You know, I'm a millionaire in business, cool. If I don't want to do business with you, I don't have to do business with you. If I feel like your principles are not lined up with my principles, your money could be great, but, you know, some people say it's business, not personal. Yeah, but it's sometimes principles have to take it over. You know, I have family members that I don't even speak to anymore because they might have done some dirtbag shit.
Yeah.
That's it.
Rich, you agree?
Very much so. I mean, you know, it's interesting because we've watched sports players take a knee. We've watched sports players speak out. We've watched them unite and do different things to make the sports better. When do you think the music people will step up and kind of unite and say, you know what, enough is enough? You know, guys like Melly Mel should have his publishing back. You know, even younger artists that are current, you know, and with all the violence that's been going on, when will the label step up and say, hey, you know what? When I signed to Motown back when I was a young kid, it was a code of conduct. And if I had did anything against that code of conduct, meaning like walking with guns and being in brawls, I would be dropped from the label. When are we going to be accountable for the culture that we've nurtured from the inception of hip hop on Wax 79 until now, and these billion-dollar corporations that seem to just keep tapping the well, but not reinvesting in the culture and the safety of the culture?
See, I think it's two different levels to that. One is that there is a certain amount of policing amongst ourselves that has to happen. You know, the age that we are now, we know better. When we were in our 19s, I mean, look, we lost Tupac and Biggie because people didn't stop it when it should have stopped.
Right.
We didn't hear it. You know, my whole label went to jail in the mid-90s. I'm clear. At the end of the day, my dad would be like, hey, man, watch what y'all putting on them records. That energy will come back. I'm like, Dad, but it's real. That's really what happens. Now I'm like, that's really not what I'm trying to hear or see. So I can't totally blame them, but I also can say that being gangsters when you know how to squash beef, being gangsters when you know how to put people in their place and still have the respect and draw a line to it. That's really where it's at. You know what I'm saying? The gangster knows how to calm it all down so that the business can flow and to save a life. You have to be in the position where you have to take a life all the time. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, that's a lot, but that's a whole nother cultural OGs like, yo, big man, we need y'all to cool this off right now. Because there's a whole nother level to that. You know, when you can be able to squash stuff, put it in perspective, slow things down, that's big. When you can excite the riot and throw gasoline on the fire and then collect from both sides, well, we know who's good at starting wars and benefiting from it. You know what I'm saying? That's what happened. That's how we got here, right? That's how we got to America, tribe against tribe. and then get them to lock y'all up, put y'all on the ship, and then come in for the meeting and get your pay, and you end up a slave too? That's what happened.
For the whole, that's a lot of what happened. And it's interesting because you got a song called with Chronixx and Black Thought, I want to say African Children.
Yep.
And I think too, Rich, to your question and to what Salaam saying, a part of that, the change is going to have to come in education too. You know, like just even them gems you just dropped about the transatlantic slave trade and how people, you know, got enslaved and all over the world. And I think a part of what's been hurting us as a people is the way our information has been hidden from us, devalued or swept away. We haven't had access to it. So when you think of Africa, and a lot of people for Africa's history starts with Egypt, you know, when the Romans decided to come into Egypt and invade Egypt, and they went on their quest. But we don't hear about the empires like the Kush Empire or the Land of Punt or the Great Zimbabwe Empire, these civilizations that existed even way before the Egyptian, you know, empire came into power. How important do you think that education is? And is that what this song is speaking to?
I think, first of all, the education is just real. Like, it's all in our face, literally. Like, you know, the whole idea that people would say, oh, look at you, you're dark, and then lay on a tanning bed all day. Or your lips are too big, and then use all types of things to make their lips big and change their nose and try to get body parts. But then, you know, Sarah Bartman was then, oh, look at you, your butt's too big. How'd you do that? And then now all of a sudden, you know, Black woman beauty is now being imitated by everyone else who wants to that you weren't good enough. 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, you weren't good enough. Now you're trying to look just like me. So, you know, it's totally real that people will say, hey, I don't know if you have a talent, or know what you have too much talent. Actually, you know what, you should sell me your property. You know, once again, it's a gentrification of looks, gentrification of the value of yourselves. And then that goes back hundreds of years, yes, before Egypt, and of course it was Kush. And that takes books and so much attention span to look back that far. But when you can show somebody now, you know, as a streets disciple, tell a kid, look right here. Hey, you know what? They said your lips are too big. Then why do they keep sucking on stuff to make themselves lips and get injections? Makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Like the same thing you said wasn't it, now it, to the point where you want to steal it from me. So that's a gentrification in itself of trying to tell everyone that you're not worth anything. Oh, you don't want this publishing, just give me a couple dollars, yeah, whatever it is, and then why are you giving me money if it's not worth anything? And understanding, you know, most of us come from humble beginnings, humble backgrounds, families that weren't loaded. We had to know how to build and maintain a career. And the first deal wasn't the best deal. You know, my pops was in the business. He shielded me from the deals that he got jerked on, but then he didn't see the ones I was going to walk into because they were beyond where he was at. So every generation we continue to get better. But as far as the African children's song, Chronixx really listened to the energy of it. Is it because I'm Black? And flipped it. And when I heard it, I was like, you know what? I need to build a new track to this. I need to create a whole nother song, because your thinking and where you're going with it is like, we can go back to Africa. We can go back to certain places. You know, the whole attitude that Africa is nothing but, you know, jungles and uncivilized people and everything else.
That's bullshit.
It was never true.
It was never true.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, so Tarzan's the only one that can talk to animals and live in this place. Like,
I'm confused.
Fuck out of here.
But, you know, as we know, Criminal Minded turned it into my philosophy, turned it into Stop the Violence, and then we got our education. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
I listen to 21 Savage or even Little Baby talk. I hear them speaking to their generation, but they're also like, nah, man, I ain't trying to mess up my chance. I'm trying to stay focused and do what I had to do. Well, they have the option to also incite a riot. So I think at every level, when you have an OG and you have somebody that wants to listen, then there's somebody that's also willing to help influence their generation the other way. And, you know, we came through the Black Medallions generation, you know, Black Medallions, no goal. We went through that whole phase, but it isn't just about that. It's about culture at every level and being able to share some values. And like I said, values and principles. If you don't have that, then who are you? You're really just here for the hype, here for the moment, here for the craziness. Respected in the long run.
Salaam Remi is here with us on Sway in the Morning. Black on Purpose is the project. It's been out. We're going through phases though, so it's been out, but this is we're moving into the next phase. And I cannot, Salaam, really, I couldn't tell you what's in Rich's cup. Rich is holding a teacup and pretending like he's sipping something, and it can't. It got the A&R Room logo on it.
I'm a tea guy, man. I like tea, so I'm drinking some nice tea. You know, I like tea, and you know, this is a tea conversation. You know, often when I get to speak with music people, you know, a shout to, you know, guys like L.A. Reid, who I've had tea conversation with, and you know, guys like Salaam Remi, and you know, even Hank Shockley. We would sit and we have tea and conversation. So you know.
So well, I have a little limeade in my cup. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. Okay.
What's in your cup, Sway?
Nothing. I just was going along with it. I just showing that my daughter graduated from NYU. And speaking of my daughter, man, one of the things I appreciated on this project, Jennifer Hudson, Selena Johnson, Mumu Fresh, you know, you have all of these Tidra Moses, all these powerful performers, entertainers. They all got tremendous talent. This ain't about entertaining you. This is about talent that entertain you. This ain't because they're popular, they're incredible. The plight of the Black woman this year has been front and center. And this hasn't just been this year. This has been throughout the history of time, you know, and their voices are now being amplified and heard louder than ever. What kind of response did you get from the women working on this project, and what kind of things did they talk about? What was on their mind?
You know, I think just as we all were feeling it, they, as they always do in our community and just in general, have even more empathy, and they're always thinking ahead about, but what's going to happen to the babies? You know what I'm saying? How is this really going to in the future? You know, I'd actually started the Black Love song with Tidra at the beginning of the pandemic. We never worked together. I hit up on, you know, I was like, yo, if you got a mic, you can record something. She sent me those vocals, and then I built that track around it. But when I did it, I was hoping that the pandemic would have been over by July 4th. You know what, we got good summer music, we can get out there. Then I started working on Black on Purpose, and I told her, but I didn't know how this fit. I called her back and said, I want to call the song Black Love. She's like, well, that's exactly what I was writing about. Come here, baby. It's a war outside. This feeling I got for you, trying to give you a safe place to hide. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was always in support of Black love and Black man, and trying to, you know, like I said, we're looking out the window and trying to figure out how to pull it together.
Yeah.
Her lyrics actually pull that in 100%. And even with Mumu Fresh's, you know, tear it down at the end, but then really her verse on No Peace.
Uh-huh.
She's like the mother who comes out and her boys on the block have been violated. She gonna let you know how she feel. You know how you had that one mother on your block? And you're like, oh yeah, man, mom's coming. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. That's where Mumu actually took over, and she gave that song a much needed layer of conversation, because it's real. You know, she's looking out for everybody. That mother who's gonna know who did something on the block. You mess with one of these babies, you mess with all my babies. Lioness. I think that they're all lioness. And when the lion's not in the jungle, the lioness still controls things. You don't say you can fight a female lion. A lion's a lion.
Absolutely. Cheers to that. A lion is a lion.
A lion's a lion.
Hold up. A lion's a lion. Cheers.
A lion is a lion.
So,
oh man, that's awesome. Rich, you want to ask one of the final questions?
Yeah, you know, there's a song that means a lot to me just because of the person you chose to sing it, and she's been kind of like the auntie of the music business, and I'm really happy that you have her singing this song. I met her in passing. I didn't get to work with her until the Jennifer Lopez project. When I got to work with her, it was like my eyes had been opened. I had never thought about recording vocals the same again after working with her. And I'm talking about the great Miss Betty Wright. And this song, Strange Fruit, is, I mean, it stands the test of time, obviously, because so many people have sang it. But the video is so impactful. I urge people to go check out the video. The video is so powerful. I believe you directed the video.
Yes, I did.
You know, people don't know that Classic Concept, a longtime video production company, and Salaam Studio was side by side. So he grew up around video production. So I'm not shocked that you directed the video. But tell us about this connection with Betty Wright and the production process and this vocal session when she sang it, because this song it just touches me, and it's every time I hear it, it's phenomenal for me.
Yeah. So I mean, when I first moved to Miami in 2001, more to 2002, my mom had just passed, and I was moving to Miami pretty much by myself. You know, I had some friends here who were around, specialists in my crew, but realistically, I was just out here without any real family, even living in Florida at the time. And I started working with Amy Winehouse, but then I also worked with Joss Stone. And Betty Wright was training Joss Stone, and I put together the soul sessions that I was there watching and doing stuff. And then we worked on songs for Joss's first album. But she took a liking to me because of, again, you know, my demeanor and being able to get stuff done and being focused. But then I also realized that she wasn't just a singer. She just wasn't those things. She was like the mother of Miami's music scene. Anything that happened, she was at the session. Well, I called them. Well, you know who sang that? Who's a bad bass player? That one here, his daddy's bad. Like, she knows, she's that mother in the neighborhood that knows everything, knows everybody. He was like, I'm doing a video. I might need a girl. Oh, you girls? Oh, bringing through girls to the videos. You know, we the children's choir. We needed this and that. She was, you know, training my little sister. Miss Betty was in everything, basically, you know, and anybody that's lived in Miami or worked here enough know that. You know what I'm saying? She's pretty much on top of the scene here and really making everything happen. And last year, I was scoring Fat Five Freddy's Grass is Green. I know his directorial debut, Five's cousin of mine. And we had a spot where Nina Simone's Strange Fruit was there, and Fat really wanted to use it, but our budget, you know, didn't make it happen. So I looked at it, I was like, let me try something. So I got James Poyser to pretty much play over the keys, similar to Nina Simone, and James was able to nail it. And then I was like, Ms. B, do you know anybody who can maybe sing like a Nina Simone type voice or something like that? She's like, oh, I'm not sure, baby. Send it to me. Let me take a listen to it. See if I can maybe find somebody. I knew what was going to happen. She did. She did it. And she nailed it. And it sounded like a whole nother world. So then when that happened, you know, we had a couple of vocal takes and different versions. She sent it back to me. She was like, you know, I was channeling, you know, her son had died from gun violence years ago before that, her son Patrick. She was like, you know, I was channeling, you know, I had a little tear in my eye while I was doing that, you know, I was thinking about my baby, but she nailed the Strange Fruit. So then she would always be like, you know what, we need to shoot a video for that and do something with it. And I was like, yeah, we'll figure it out. But, you know, the year went by, the time went on, and, you know, things just were going left. And all the way till like Super Bowl, I was trying to shoot a video for, you know, Black History Month for CeeLo for Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Betty was out during Super Bowl, like, oh, the marching bands with Beyonce now, but they're going to finish. They're going to come down this street. Or you in luck. I didn't know she was that sick. I know she might have been a little sick, but I didn't know she was sick like that.
Yeah.
So then when she finally passed on Mother's Day, of all days, that weekend was like Friday night, Andre Harrell, Saturday, Little Richard, Sunday. Whew, I mean,
Ooh, that was a
to
hard
now,
weekend.
Wow, that was a horrible weekend.
Yo,
and
Elliot
then
Rich,
also-
I'm on the phone that whole weekend.
and that was still after every day for 2 months.
Yeah.
We're getting beat up. So when that happened, boy, and you know, that was a couple days before my birthday. You know, the reality, I was born on Mother's Day. My mom passed on my birthday in 01. Both of my grandmothers pretty much either passed or had their funerals right around that same day. And it just hit me. So I was turning 48 that week. I was like, you know what? I'm out of 2020. I'm done. I'm in year 48. Like, I was just trying to shake the energy because I was like, this is so much and so heavy to carry. And then Memorial Day, once the George Floyd thing happened, it just hit me. And I said, you know what? I have to do what Miss Betty said. I have to find a way to memorialize this record because there was so much that she put into it. And she's not here. So James and I took the other vocal and pretty much reapproached it like a Aretha Franklin. So we took it to church. Big up Piranha Head. He was able to pull together some strings in his house during the pandemic and make it sound the way he did. And then I was still like, wow, I got the record. I got to figure out a way to do this video. We're in a pandemic. And it just came to me. And I felt that while I was working on it, her daughter had texted me, I'm like, I'm finishing the video now, but I feel like your mom is sitting here with me, helping me through it. And then when she finally saw it, she's like, she sure did, because her favorite color was purple. And
Wow.
You must have been channeling it. And, you know, that strange fruit for me is so chilling to listen to. Like I said, I really made it with a tear in my eye, you know, as I did most of this album, but it was so chilling for me that her spirit's totally in it, and it guided me to it. And the fact that we're still dealing with hangings during this year of Black people, after what Billie Holiday went through, after Nina Simone bringing it up, and we're still going through this 100 years later after these songs. It's just something else, man. It's just, I mean, that's the thing. Like, you know, okay, the election's done. We're still Black. I'm still a Black man who has to figure out how comfortable I am walking around my neighborhood with a mask on.
There it is. And it comes back full circle. And that meant the Black on purpose. I totally get it now. Salaam, we've been talking about this project for a long time.
Yeah.
And today I feel like I got full visual, but I also feel like there's a lot of nook and crannies and rocks still to turn over that we're going to continue to find as we look at the visuals and listen to the album. But you put together a very needed, great gift to the Black community and to the community abroad, because people could learn a perspective, maybe gain some sympathy by tuning into these voices and the messaging in this project. And sonically, man, it's golden, man. I know you work with Amy Winehouse, you named Kaleidoscope Dreams, that's Miguel, you named the score, that's the Fugees. I know you work with Nas and all of them, but for you to say this is the one, you know, I totally understand why. So I just want to say congratulations, Salaam, and thank you. Thank you for sharing this information with us. We probably got to do a part 2 on the next phase. You ready for that?
Yeah, I am. You know, I shot a video today. You know, we gonna keep it rolling. I'm definitely putting it through. And you know, I like I say, is I was inspired by what's going on. By It Takes a Nation of Millions to hold us back, and you know, any 15 minutes of a Fela song that goes all together, put into one, and you know, it's that purpose. It was they played the music, but now it's time to play the lyrics, right? So
yeah,
this is where we are, and I mean, I'm blessed to be able to express it in this way freely. And once again, I'm here for the long haul. This is fun.
Yes. Absolutely. Salaam Remi. Hey, Rich Nice, thank you, man. This is an A&R Room exclusive as well. Rich Nice, I appreciate you, man. Let them know how they can reach you, Rich Nice.
Man, it feels so good to be here with friends and family, or family. I can't even say friends, it's all family. You know what I mean? The A&R Room, the letter A, the letter N, the letter R, the word room. Follow us, we follow back. You know, we've been talking about this Black on Purpose project for a while, and I'm just happy to see the world finally get a chance to hear what I've been hearing and enjoy it. You know, I'm gonna have to go dig up that footage of Salaam at Soul in the Horn, because we got a dope live set of him at Soul in the Horn.
Yep.
So that's gonna be amazing to get out to the people as well.
Definitely.
Salaam, thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you for having me, bro.